Welcome, everybody, to Round 1 Front 9 coverage of the 2020 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Grip 6. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here yet again by my lefty co-host, Nathan Queen. What's up, Nathan?
Oh, feeling good, man. Ready to watch this. These championship players here on the Hornet's Nest course in Charlotte, North Carolina.
We have such a prestigious event building here with this tour championship and $20,000 first place prize, Woo. MPO, FPO, ESPN show deal. All these players are here trying to make a name for themselves and cement their place in disc golf history. And like you said, we come to the Hornet's Nest championship course in Charlotte, North Carolina. What do you think about this course?
Fantastic representation of North Carolina disc golf. Just pushing it a little further, getting a little bit longer on the holes. And just so much excitement coming into this event with the announcement of the $20,000 winner payout and equal for the ladies as well.
We have a card. This is kind of the lowest ranked card that we have at the tournament. It's Gregg Barsby, Jordan Castro, Matt Bell, and myself. Me and Matt Bell were able to get into the event from two players dropping. I actually had gotten into the event the night prior at about 9:30 p.m. I got the call saying I was ready to play.
And that's always a little bit harder to do when you haven't prepared all week. Moving into hole 1, 390 feet. What a way to start the event, huh?
It is such, like you said, such a good representation of Charlotte disc golf. Tight gap you have to hit. And I think without OB, there still is risk reward here. If you want to go for the birdie, there is a very controlled power shot with a very specific flip point that you have to hit, or you can choose to just take the safe 3 to start the round.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of both plays here. A lot of people will pull out a mid-range or a fairway and just try to land in the middle, or you'll get some people with a fairway or a driver pushing it. It looks like Jordan was trying to push it there, and it came out pretty early.
I had noticed that there was a slight right to left crosswind seeping through these woods. And another early release from Gregg. He got a bit nicer of a kick than Jordan.
There's a little bit of room to work on that right side as long as you don't get too far.
There's Matt, a little bit high, and that is a nasty kick. And that's pretty much the name of the game on this hole is hope that you can get a decent placement because there are so many trees out here. As you see, everyone on their card gets a different type of kick.
Yeah, a few or 2 or 3 of you there just missing the fairway off to the left or the right and getting a kick pretty aggressively into the rough. And you see Jordan, he's far enough out. He's not even trying to get his par. He's just trying to get up as far as he can to save his bogey.
Barsby looks like he has a bit of a lane. He's going with kind of a flippier putter, it looks like. Kicks into about circle's edge.
Yeah, that late tree's, that's the last one he needed to get by, and he would have had a pretty easy par look.
And I have a look. It's kind of a precise flex line, and I got a little overzealous there.
And Matt going with an overhand throw here.
This is what I know Matt Bell for. He's just one of the best scramblers I've ever seen.
Scramble game good. He had a lot of heat on that. It kept rolling on past the basket.
Jordan's going to pitch out to about 25 feet.
You look like a lefty Austin Hannum right now.
I have gotten that more times than I'd like to admit. Just roll bounced off that tree.
Gregg trying to get the par save, just coming up just a bit short. Matt Bell for the par on the card.
Such a solid up and down.
Great putt there. After a great up and down with the overhand from far right side.
And yet again, I'm in a very awkward lie. I'm trying to see if I can get around this tree. And after taking quite a bit of time, I just miss about an inch to the left.
Yeah, that's a tough putt. You always got to get it a little higher than you think for it to fall back.
Jordan taps in the bogey. And with how hard some of these birdies are to get out here, taking a big number to start is not necessarily the most optimal out here.
Yeah, it's rough. Like we were saying before the hole started, this is a pretty tough hole to start on, even without OB. There's a lot of skinny fairway to traverse, and it's taking its toll on this card. We've got one par walking away into hole 2.
Barsby will also tap out his bogey. What a start. Brutal hole. And here we are, one of the signature holes at Hornets Nest Park. Just the beautiful island green with all of the, North Carolina pines with, the island, the water. I think it's such a beautiful scenic hole.
Yeah, it's a great shot, and it still incorporates a late gap without leaving you a wide open hole.
Slight left to right wind out here. Matt's throwing a beautiful drifting flex shot.
What a stand-up shot from Matt Bell right there. That's exactly how you want to play this hole. Just stand it up. Don't really play with those trees at all.
Jordan kind of fighting the crosswind with something pretty straight, slightly overstable, and that's also parked even more than Matt.
Right, we got some comeback power going on right here. Everybody's a little upset after that first hole.
Gregg going eagle here. I like this play quite a bit.
And
he is the most parked.
Same gap that Castro hit. Skipped right up close to it. I guess you're about to ace it here, right?
I was actually trying to run the ace. Not as much hyzer as I needed to get on that buzz. Puts me to about 34, 35 feet. And that slight headwind just kind of lifted me a little bit.
Yeah, good bid from there. You wanted it. You didn't miss low.
No, definitely did not miss low. But great birdie from Matt and great shots from the entire card, pretty much.
Really well played on the hole. Nobody left it short or brought those trees into play too much, because you can kick those trees and go back OB as well.
Yes, and I've seen that happen a lot.
So pretty clean for hole 2 out here. That's a good way to come back from hole 1.
Barsby moves back to even.
I had to.
And hole number 3 has a new tee pad this year from last year's championship. They pushed it back into the left about 70, 80 feet. So now you can't just throw a pure hyzer forehand to get through this elbow landing zone. You're playing to pretty much the landing zone itself, unless you want to throw some long drifting righty sidearm or a long flex lefty backhand. A lot of players are opting to just throw straight, making this second shot way up into the corner a lot tougher. You can't necessarily bite off as much as you could in previous years.
Yeah, with where the T-pad was before, you had a chance to get around that first corner you saw, and this new T-pad kind of limits this righty backhand from even getting around that corner. So then the second corner you get to is pretty tough. Matt just pulling it off to the right a little bit. A kick back to the left is probably better than staying right side.
And Jordan throwing slightly understable disc on a pure hyzer, flipping up the entire way. That's actually how they kind of programmed that righty backhand play.
Yeah, that looks like he's going to be in a good landing zone. He'll be looking straight down the fairway and just need a little bit of right finish at the end.
And this is that late drifting forehand I was talking about. What a shot.
Wow, that's
Barsby.
where you get from the old tee.
That's so good. And I'm trying to throw a crystal buzz here on a turnover and just didn't commit to the line. And I kicked to a horrible spot.
Yeah, anything right side's not gonna leave you a whole lot.
Matt going giant flex sidearm.
How did he get so much on that?
Don't know. I do not know.
He's in a great spot now. He'll have a good chance to save his par from there.
And I'm just trying to get to some sort of landing zone so I can get up and down for a par. I saw a pretty high gap in the trees, so I did push through that. Decent spot.
Jordan, after his great drive off the tee, catching a late tree, falling backwards about 40 more feet, he'll have a pretty easy par from there and a long look at the birdie.
I'm going kind of a tight hyzer here, and it definitely pays off.
Wow, that's going to be a look for par from a really nasty spot off of the tee. So way to get up there onto the green.
And even with Barsby being as far up as he is, he has to go full patent pending.
Patent pending flex shot and puts it in the circle.
Amazing shot. He kind of looked at me and he knew how hard that shot was to pull off. Matt hitting kind of an early tree there.
Jordan with a long look, just kind of pitching it up there. Pretty. This is with the pin movement back and the pad movement back. This has become a very tough par 4.
Getting the birdie 3 here is something special.
I'd say it's pushing one of the better wooded par 4s that we play now, and getting a birdie here. Gregg's got a look.
Got it.
Able to sink it in. Way to pick up that's going to pick up a stroke on most of the guys
definitely
here today. There's 16 players today, and I'd say maybe 2 birdies.
Yeah, most definitely. I can't see too many people playing this hole perfectly. I take the par after hitting that nice 25-footer. That was kind of a wipe the sweat off your brow kind of par save.
Yeah, that's a great save from early right. Matt was a little early left and not quite able to save the par. Had the chance and just a little frustrated with that third shot. Hit a little early tree.
Jordan's going to tap in a pretty stress-free par. And we move on to hole number 4. Just a dead straight shot. We have OB on the right. We have kind of a forgiving chain link fence on the left, which is also OB if you go over the top of that. But really, you just want to keep it left side of the fairway and as far as you can, because you are bending around this corner to a sloped green, elevated basket, and OB all around it.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough hole if you don't get far off of the tee.
Exactly.
If you can smash one out there and have a good look at the basket, it's pretty easy to place it where you want. But key is getting far off this tee, which you see is not always the easiest to do.
Barsby getting kind of a favorable kick off that tree. He's back in the middle of the fairway. Jordan puts a pretty good move on this, and he might roll off the fence.
Just catches the edge and doesn't quite jump forward, but he does have a look with a good forehand there.
And I threw an XL here, and look at that thing destabilize as it's flying.
Yeah, great shot. Gets up there past the fence, and as long as you can keep carrying forward, you've got a good hyzer in from there.
And Matt just throws a long flex shot with a Zeus.
Yeah, if this can get a good skip back to the left,
wow,
then that is the ideal spot.
Picture perfect. And Barsby's played this hole a time or two, and he's going with a big sidearm.
Yeah, having to go big on that second shot. Lands right where the original pin is, and gets lucky to stay flat on the hill. He'll be pitching up for a par most likely.
And Jordan going for kind of an inside Annie at the basket on this sloped green. Kind of a bold move.
Yeah, this is a tough angle to hit, and looks like he's landed it inbounds on the green. That's an incredible, very high difficulty shot that he just pulled off right there.
And I am pinched more tight than I'd like to be. There's not really a line to go low. I have to go spike hyzer. And also, something I kept in mind in the shot was it's rained a lot this week. The ground is soft, so I tried to throw this spike hyzer extra high so I could spike into the ground with less movement. That's a raptor.
And it played how you wanted. It hit the ground and just kind of sat still. It was soft enough to eat it up. And Matt, after a fantastic drive, playing the forehand right at it. Oh, no.
Oh, and he's blessed. He's safe.
Oh, man. Spotter down. Oh, he's good. So a good shot there. Gets a little bit of an unfortunate roll, but then still falls inbound safe. He'll have a birdie look from just inside the circle.
And Barsby never laying anything up. Runs the basket. And he's going to be about 15 long.
That's a pretty scary run, guys. That disc could have done anything once it hit the top of that basket.
And great putt from Matt. Something I really love to note. We're playing here with Matt Bell and Gregg Barsby, two guys that both have claimed they'd never lay up unless they have to. They both led the Pro Tour one year in throw-in percentage. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy stat. I know I don't get many throw-ins at all.
And you wouldn't expect it to be people that purposefully run everything.
Good hit
Sometimes
there
they throw
from
in
you to get your birdie. Jordan actually aired past it a little bit. He's got a bit of a tester coming back.
Good hit from Jordan. And this was a phase 2 event for COVID guidelines, so we were able to sell a limited number of passes. So it was nice to just have people watching again. Being able to play for some fans was kind of refreshing, to be honest.
Yeah, people watching and a few caddies around as well.
Hi, this is Dave Felberg, the 2008 Disc Golf World Champion, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pro Pool and their training products. I used to be a dipper. Some people are rounders. To break that habit, you need a Pro Pool. You hook it up to a wall or tree, it'll break your habit. New release, practice poles. You put them together, you stick them in the ground, there's a flag on top, you throw around them, help you accuracy, prepare for your tournament without having to go to the course. This has been Dave Felberg with Pro Pool Disc Golf. Go to ProPoolDiscGolf.com and try our products today.
Moving on to hole number 5, par 4, 585 feet. Mando left of this big mature tree here, and really you're trying to push the drive as close as you can to these two trees in the middle. The farther back you are, the harder it is to access this green. There's a lot of OB that's been flagged off, making this hole really, unattackable unless you do get a little bit aggressive off the tee.
Yeah, well, once you get too aggressive, the landing zone is also pinched off. Once you get past those trees, it gets pretty skinny down there.
I was trying to throw kind of a subtle hyzer flip with that XL again. Just threw it a little bit too low. Not too bad of a spot.
Not a bad spot. It'll be a tough decision whether you decide to go for it or lay up from there to a bigger part of the green. And that's the play you want right there. Get to those two trees and hyzer back just a bit. He's got a wide open look to the basket, and it's not that far either.
Barsby with hard turnover out of the hand. That's still a decent spot.
Yeah, he's not quite past those trees, but he's still definitely within mid-range distance to the basket.
Jordan also going a bit low. What?
Dude, that was crazy. The thing was up like 15 feet in the air.
Gets a huge hop off of the rocks there. Not in a bad spot either. He can still reach the green from there. It looks like you're going aggressive, trying to get on up there.
Yeah, I'm throwing that same XL.
And catches the hill, rolls right to the basket, and can't ask for a better play off the ground there. Great shot.
Jordan going slow turnover out of the hand. Just a bit short. He'll still have a run at the basket.
Yeah, it's easy to leave this one short with that. You don't want to throw it too high with the sidewalk behind it, and with the wind pushing, you could get a carry. So, also the ground play, you see the grass turning into pine straw there. So a foot difference in the air can make about a 60-foot difference in your shot. If you hit that grass right there before the pine straw, you'll slide right up to the basket. If you catch the pine straw, you're going to be about 30 long.
Exactly. Here's Jordan from about 40. Just a bit low.
Yeah, good sit.
Literally, I think this is the first time that I've seen Matt miss a putt that short.
Yeah, Matt's one of the better putters on tour as well. He's that's what I know. That's what I knew him for before I met him.
Yeah.
So
And
that's pretty strange to see.
Very uncharacteristic for Matt for the birdie. Barsby's going to tap in his bird, as will I.
Good hole from the card there. Just a couple missed putts.
Jordan will tap in the par, and we will move on to hole number 6. One of my favorite holes in the course, 453 feet, dead straight, OB on the right. It's just a fun display of professional disc golf, a shaped 453-foot shot. And it plays, in my mind, a little bit longer than that.
I'd say so as well, with the low ceiling off the tee, and because you said the shaped fairway that you have to hit. Anytime you can't fully open up because you're trying to hit a gap, it does make it play just a bit longer than a wide open one.
And I thought I had enough drift on this shot.
And it's just going to carry. I know that feeling
slightly too much.
Also well. You want to throw something flippy, but then you know you need it to come back to be able to get there, and it fades out just too early.
And Barsby is playing a nice flex, and here's the road skip. And he said that that's his play. He said he tries to get that little extra distance off the road. Great shot from Gregg.
Yeah, the righty backhand seems like it would be an easier play, but with that road, it's really hard to throw the correct disc because you're going to want to stand it up, but then you can turn it over too much and it'll never come back, and you'll just have to pitch up for your bogey. So it's still a touchy shot. It's not really just a righty hyzer.
After Matt throws his a little bit low, Jordan is right out of the hand, knows it, and he just couldn't quite get that disc to flex out.
He's trying to throw that stand-up shot and just gets that turnover that I was talking about, pitching up for his bogey now. And what Matt did is kind of what you'll see to counteract that. He got it a little too low and put it into the ground, so he doesn't quite get there. With a chance to save, and just a couple inches low. Pretty good bid. It's a frustrating. This can be a frustrating hole, which I think is what makes it such a great par 3.
Jordan taps in his 4. It really does require a pro level shot. You know, throwing 450 feet alone is a challenging thing to do in disc golf, but doing it with accuracy is is what we need to be requiring of these pro players. Great birdie from Gregg. And that's what I think Hornet's Nest does so well. There's a lot of pro level shots that make you commit fully.
Yeah, and here's another one at hole 7, 641 foot par 4. Again, it's another straight. You have to hit an exact spot off of the tee. You want to get right to these trees and miss just to the left or just to the right. As a righty, I believe either side's going to work fine. You can just kind of, left side's going to be more ideal. I forgot the basket was actually pushed up into the right up here. So once you get that first shot past the first big tree in the middle, you want to be in a situation where you'll still get some right to left movement with your second shot.
Exactly. Barsby going with a Wraith, I believe that is, and that is such a beautiful flick line.
Yeah, it gets a good tree touch to be back left side to have the more open angle into the green there. That's a great shot from Gregg.
And I think this green disc is a hurricane out of Matt's hand. And that's another great reaction off the tree.
90 feet past
That's
Gregg.
fantastic. And I'm going with a vulture here. The right side has been a lot more favorable for me.
Yeah, and that's a great shot. It skips just a bit too far right. There's still possible to have an angle to the green from there. Just might have to play with that wood line a little bit. It looks like Jordan kind of burned his over, but he gets a good kick out to the left side.
And look at this roller that he's throwing. Watch this disc.
This is super aggressive from where he's at. This is going...
And it's coming back in.
He's,
what a shot.
How is he, like 120 foot past the basket?
He is about 100 feet past the basket on that one.
Wow.
That's picture perfect from Barsby.
Forehand, and he's got about 15 feet left. Pinched off on the right side just a little bit, going with the lefty forehand roller, something we don't get to see real often. And that's a fantastic shot. Gets you a circle's edge look.
It's about all I had from where I was at. And
yeah, great play. Matt, after one of the better drives I've seen on this hole, he's about made it past all the trees. Needs to get a skip.
He was trying to take that Hellfire out and flare it to the basket.
Yeah, if he could have got that about 3 feet higher, he would have got the flare and got on over there.
Jordan had a whole lot of nothing from where he was at.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've planned on it. And Matt not being let down with the little short up shot. He's going to make sure he gets his birdie from that tee.
Good job, man.
Great putt there from Matt. And a chance for the birdie from you as well.
Splashed out weak side.
Yeah, just
Close.
Just running out of steam. Jordan not quite able to save the par either after rolling a bit long off the tee. Still not something I'm sure anybody imagined would happen.
No, and that's a pretty easy birdie from Barsby. It's a great second shot. He's been flicking that eagle so well for so long. Jordan taps out the unfortunate and probably unexpected bogey.
So Gregg here with a pretty good start. He's 4 down through 7.
Hole number 8, another tight early gap to hit. Mando left of that tree. And then you have two different options. You can play kind of the more flippy inside hyzer where the drone is flying. There also is a right gap right of that middle tree that you can throw some sort of flex shot or stall shot. And you really want to land about here. And once you do land in the right zone, it's just an uphill putter or some sort of approach disc to the basket. Still very placement oriented par 4.
Yeah, definitely placement shot off of the tee. Me as a lefty, I know you may throw a forehand, but I don't try to get into the woods at all. So I have to make sure that I land in the correct spot in the grass out before that gap. So you have a look through the gap. This is looking pretty early.
That's a common miss. A lot of players not pushing far enough forward. Matt also goes inside.
Looks like he was trying to throw something pretty flippy and get it to stand up. Didn't quite get it to.
And I do go with the forehand. I try to play that little flex line on the outside.
And this is looking pretty good. It's kind of
Little deep.
see, that's that placement. That's even though he's only about 10 feet past that fairway, it's pretty tight from there. You'll have to work something a lot more than you want. This is looking like it's fading right into the gap.
Yeah, great shot from Jordan. Makes the correction on all 3 of our shots.
Yeah, and he's made it a fairly easy upshot from there.
And Matt just flinging a forehand and just clips that early tree.
Even at this shorter distance, this is one of my favorite par 4s on the course. I like that you have to hit that gap off the tee and then still land it in a pretty specific spot. I think I go Mako Colt on this hole if I throw 2 good shots, so makes you play pretty well. That's a good...
Decent positioning from where I was at. I'm about 25 feet from the basket.
Yeah, good flex forehand through the line. Jordan, after his fantastic drive, kind of giving it a run, seeing if he could get his eagle.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice.
He didn't quite get the right turn on it that he wanted. Sounded like he was wanting it to stand up some. Have a tester for his par from there.
Yeah. Just another cast jumper just outside circle 1 for Barsby.
And that puts him 5 through 8 now. He's looking to stay alive and move on to tomorrow.
And just a clean trajectory on that putt. No wobble, nose down hyzer. The classic Gregg Barsby putt.
Yeah, I always like watching him putt. He's been one of my favorites to watch.
And another low stepper for Jordan. He's all over the basket.
Got you with the chance for birdie here after a good... Oh, and just pulling it high left. Looked a little off on the release, maybe on the timing there.
Tiny bit off, but man, I really thought that one was going to stick.
Yeah, it looked like it should have stuck. It hit pretty solid.
But when you putt like that, it'll stick every time. Nice putt from Matt.
Yeah,
par.
good par save there. He didn't get real far on a couple shots and still able to get his par. Jordan disappointed after that great drive. Good upshot as well, just pushed it a little long. So Gregg with the only birdie there. You know, Jordan and yourself are probably starting to creep in knowing you need to get those birdies.
Yeah, and When we see holes like this, we know the birdies have to be earned a lot. Super, super tight gap off the tee. 430 feet.
Has to be the hardest par 3 on the course.
Oh, most definitely. The optimal shot is a flex shot. Lefty backhand or righty forehand, but it's not a hard flex shot out of the hand. You don't have room to throw the overstable disc on the flex line. It's a late flexing shot with a slightly understable disc.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hyzer flip flex. It's
such a challenging shot.
Such a tough shot.
And to execute that through such a tight gap, Barsby was trying to do that with that Wraith, I believe. And he's going to kick early. You saw Matt trying to go with a slightly more overstable disc and just throws it a bit too low. And I just completely ignored the optimal line. I knew that if I hit early, I would be scrambling for a tough par, and I just wanted to give myself a chance.
Yeah, that's a great shot. It gets a good kick back out into the open. You won't have to deal with too many trees down there. Jordan getting a great move on this. If this can stay clean, then he is going to outdrive the basket.
And he goes deep of the basket. He's about 470 feet off the tee.
Wow.
Matt going with a putter here and just clips something in the middle.
Yeah, that's the one tree to miss from that position. You got to go left or right, and you ought to float on up there.
And Barsby did not kick to a favorable spot.
That's a good out from where he was at.
Solid
He gets
play.
inside the circle and has a chance to get his par still. This is a really long look for par from Bell. This is kind of where he can excel sometimes, though.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And he wanted every bit of that putt.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to miss high from that far away, and he's on an elevated basket, so definitely on point there. Just the chance for the birdie.
And I just had, that was a bit of a rough lie. I tried throwing a rattler into the basket and just kind of floated in there.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to execute on the right line with your stretching around. And Jordan, again, having trouble getting that putter high enough.
And that's kind of the first blunder for Barsby besides hole one.
Yeah, that's he's solid on the green as well. That's
Yeah.
not something we're used to seeing. So coming in the front 9 +1, not what you want. There's a chance to make a move on the back 9, but it is a bit tougher.
Yeah, again, the name of the game here is just staying away from the big numbers, the double bogeys, the triple bogeys, because each time you get a bogey stroke, it's so much harder to get that back as the course moves forward.
Yeah, and Jordan at +2, kind of on the struggle bus as well. Matt Bell, it looked like he was one down through the front, and Gregg still has a good shot going on to get into this
Quarterfinal,
yeah.
Yeah, and there we go for the front 9. I mean, we're working hard out here, and it's not like we're playing terrible, but there is a lot of work to be done. As you can see, the top 4 players here are playing fantastic at this point. Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube, and thank you again for watching. We will see you on the back 9.
We'll see you guys out there.